Hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel once again. My name is Nancy, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, share and like my videos. In this video, I'll be showing you how to pad the butt and the hip perfectly. To give you a fuller hips and butt, please take note I use the pattern to cut out the lining as well as the Ankara with the seams included. But for the Ankara, I added 1 inch extra allowance to the hip line so it can fit the foam pad properly. As you keep watching, you understand what I mean. This is a basic pencil skirt which I drafted in my previous video, and this is what I'll be using. An Ankara print which I already cut out, and a lining to give it a neat finishing. For this skirt, these are the measurements I need: the waist, the hip, the knee and the full length. I used this pattern to cut out the Ankara fabric and the lining, so after doing that I trimmed the seam allowance, so this is practically my exact measurement without a seam allowance. I'll be using this front panel to achieve my hip padding. So now I'll mark my new length. Remember I deducted 1 inch for the skirt band, so I'll place my tape this way and I'll mark my new measurement, which is 17 inches. From the waistline I'll go down by 1 inch, and for the new line I'll come up by 2 inches. What I need to do now is to measure on the hip line, so about 4 inches, making sure it's not close to the dart. Then I'll connect the 3 points together using a curved ruler. Take note that for the front pattern I drafted only the hip pad. So this is all for the front hip padding. The next thing I'll do is to make sure I label the upper part and the lower part so I don't get confused when cutting the foam pad. For the back pattern, I'll be working with both the hip and the butt pad. So on the waistline, you also have to come down by 1 inch. Then on the hip line, which is very close to the zip allowance, I'll mark 1 inch away from the zip allowance. The next thing I'll do is to mark the new length. The new length is 17 inches. Like we did for the front panel, I'll go up by 2 inches. Then mark. Then I'll use a curved ruler to connect the 3 points together. So after curving, you'll notice that the hip line is very sharp, so I'll use a curved ruler to blend it this way. So after this, I'll label the upper part and the lower part, then I'll cut it out. So for the front, I'll open it up to trim out the hip pad. So now I'll cut 2 pieces for each pattern. So this is what you should have after trimming. That's 2 pieces for the front and 2 pieces for the back. So I will use a needle and a thread to sew the sides of the hip curve for both the front and the back together. Then I'll repeat the same thing for the other piece. So what I will do now is to sew the darts for the Ankara fabric and the darts for the lining separately, and also sew the curved side separately. Now I have used my sewing machine to sew the darts for the lining and also the curved side for the lining. Then I repeated the same thing for the Ankara fabric. I made sure that the Ankara length is 1 inch longer than the lining, so it gives me a neat hem. So on the wrong side of the lining, you place the pad, making sure that the wider part faces the back panel and the smaller part faces the front panel. Now to sew the foam to the lining, I'll go down by 1 inch like I did when drafting. Then I'll use a needle and thread to join it together. Then I'll repeat the same process for the other side of the hip. Now I'll use a fabric glue on the pad to glue it to the lining. Then you make sure you spread the lining before pressing the foam on it so you don't have folds. Now I'll repeat the same gluing process for the other part. Now I'll spread out the Ankara and place the lining right side to right side. Then I'll sew the hem line by ½ inch, and I'll also turn it to sew the curved side by ½ inch. So this is how it should look like. Now I'll turn it to the right side to press. So after pressing, I'll fold it into two to mark the slit length. I'll take 6 inches for the slit and I'll mark it. Then for the zip, I'll place my tape this way to take out the 1-inch band. Then I'll mark 8 inches depending on where you want the length of the skirt to stop, but 8 inches is okay because when wearing the skirt I do not want it to get stuck around my hip. Now I'll connect the zip point to the slit point and use a sewing machine to sew. Okay, we are almost done. The next thing I'll do is to attach the band to the skirt waist by 1/2 inch. So if you want to know how I drafted this band, I'll drop the link in the description box. So now I have sewn the band to the skirt. The next thing left is for me to fix the zip. Obviously this skirt is very easy to make. You only need the required materials to achieve this. Hi guys, this is the outcome of my skirt. You should give it a try, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, share and like my videos, and don't forget to put on your notification bell to notify you whenever I upload new videos. Bye.